Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Hoseki no Kuni, episode 9. Or Land of the Lustrous, of course. So this one, there's a lot to talk about. This episode had everything in it. And I'll start off and preface it by already saying that it is tied with last week's episode for my favorite episode. Whereas last week really showed how much they could build into Antarcticite and then devastate us with the loss of Antarcticite. But beyond that, giving us sort of, at the very end, the big part of it for me was the development and showing how Phos overcame things, and just that one really great scene where she goes after the Lunarians and all that, I think made the episode, even though the rest of it was great. But this one, from start to finish, there was no down point. It was all just one thing after another, really, really great. And I'm always a sucker for episodes of anything that, when you get a cool death, that's whatever. But what's even better to me is when we get an episode or a chapter of something that really shows how it affects the other characters, how it moves the story forward. Because there are a lot of shows, and I complain about this with Junie Dyson, where you get deaths, but the deaths don't mean anything. There's no significance, so there's no point to even have the deaths. But with this, we get to see the importance of Antarcticite's death and what it does for the story, and especially what it does for Phos. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's talk about it part by part. So we start off, the snow is melting, and we get our first look at Butch Phos, the more masculine-looking Phos, who has replaced some of the parts that were chipped away with pieces of her hair, resorting in the shorter hair. And I actually really like the way that Phos's face and hair like this, she looks a lot like Antarcticite now, so it's almost as if she's taking after her, so I thought that was really cool. But she says she's lost her speed. Did I just lisp that? What the hell? But she said that she has lost her speed because of all the gold and platinum parts within her, which I think has led to a cooler style even, where the whole run around, fast, be a runner thing can go pretty far the way you could write the character, but I actually like the ability to write now Phos as like just a slow, tanky type of character, and I think showing the normal Phos at the beginning, then the fast Phos, and now the slow, tanky Phos, it has shown each of those has been good for her certain role in a story, and it's all fit very well, and none of it's felt forced. So I actually really like this slow version of Phos now. We see that she's still haunted by her failure, and she's devoted to setting things right. She's really upset with what happened with Antarcticite, and she never wants anything like that to happen again, so she's devoted herself to taking out these Lunarians and learning about them and all of that. And one of the saddest things is she even saved a part of Antarcticite to go and talk to. And what makes it even sadder is because we know that all of the parts of their body are parts of them, so that is still a little bit of who Antarcticite is that she's talking to. So actually, man, I think that's really great. She talks to herself about how she's just afraid, she hasn't slept. She sees visions of Antarcticite whenever she closes her eyes. She then repairs the master's robes, and she cries gold and stuff, which is really cool looking visually, and also the story implications behind it are really cool too. And I like how Master said it's just a mistake from a former ancient race. I thought that was great. So then we get, it's time for the others to wake up, and oh boy well, the wake up scenes, they were lewd and very, very sexy. Sexy rocks, big bund rocks, we all know. But beyond that, I liked seeing all the different characters a lot and what the different characters do. It feels like each of them got a little bit of time to show off their character, and I like that kind of thing. I like when we take a step back, like in Boku no Hero Academia, if we take a step back and see the different classmates and stuff, even if it's just an episode of them hanging out doing whatever. We haven't really got an episode like that, I don't think, but I like things like that every once in a while that just show the characters on a normal day away from all the fighting and crazy stuff. So I really liked that about this episode. But Phos at the beginning, it seems like she forgets Cinnabar for a minute before she snaps back into it. She's like, who is Cinnabar? And then after a while she remembers everything, and she's like, oh no, forgive me, I remember all. that. But they have a meeting. Rutiel repaints Phos's legs, or I guess repaints isn't the word, but she puts powder back on them so that the stripes are not visible anymore, which, yeah, why didn't they think of that before? Oh yeah, and before, does that mean if the white part is painted and the black part isn't, then they just purposefully painted them like candy canes before? But either way, whatever, getting distracted. I thought that was cool, and I actually think I don't know, I think she looks better without the candy cane legs. They were cool for a little while, but I think the design is better without the candy cane legs. Everyone all over Phos is great. Like I said, I love seeing all the different characters get their own time in there. I love the moment she has with Bortz, though, in particular, where Bortz is like, so, do you like it now that you're strong and all that? Sort of as kind of a backhanded comment, but also showing that, okay, you're not weak, you're kind of like the rest of us now, and so is it all you had hoped it would be, or all that you thought of us? So it's kind of like a backhanded question, but Phos's reply was great, where she's like, it's done nothing but bad things for me. So I really like that. And then the line when they all get back to Sensei and Phos is hiding behind him and everything, when Sensei just replies to her problems with, hey, you're popular now. I was laughing so hard I had to pause it. I loved that line. And then continuing on, where he's like, okay, if you want to see Phos, then line up, and they all start lining up. I was laughing so hard. And I loved it so much because they're all lining up, and he's like, just so you all know, it was a joke. And then Jade's like, well, Phos isn't even here anymore. And Sensei's like, yes, I know, it was a joke. And Jade's like, yes, I know, but she really isn't here anymore. And I love that because that's like the third or fourth time they've had that sort of exchange. And Jade is great too. Jade's really funny. I love the way that Jade and the Master go back and forth when they talk. So then beyond that, I think it was great seeing the characters be free and just have fun, and the way they were all really childlike and I guess, well, innocent, naive. I don't know a good word for it, but the way that instead of being serious or constantly just stressed and under this dire situation, it was good to see just this moment of them being like normal people, you know what I mean? Them being like just these innocent little kids that Sensei is like the father, the babysitter trying to take care of all of them. So I like that a lot. Phos meets Cinnabar out in the flowers, or the field of flowers, yeah. And again, I liked this interaction a lot. I think my favorite interaction was the Phos and Bortz one there, but the Phos and Cinnabar interaction was great. The Sensei has fallen asleep, so Phos gets sent out on patrol, and she shows Amethyst her growth by taking out another Lunarian. And then next week, it looks like we're getting a Phos and Bortz fight/lesson. I think they're going to end up fighting for some reason or another. Maybe not a serious fight or anything, but there's going to be some lesson to be learned in it for Phos, and I guess for us watching. But either way, I liked that. At first, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this new Phos that isn't as feminine looking, but I actually came to love the more serious, depressed kind of Phos. I liked the growth in her character and showing she's kind of the same Phos, but not really. She's been through a lot. She's changed a lot. And I think showing that change in the character naturally and over time as it was shown was really, really good. And like I said at the beginning, this is one of my favorite episodes because I love episodes that deal with how characters deal with one of the big deaths, but the effect on the cast, the effect on Phos here from losing Antarcticite was just really, really great. I keep saying great a lot, but that's really all I can use to explain this. I like as well, one other thing I thought was cool throughout the episode was whenever Phos killed a Lunarian and she would check to see if it had pieces of Antarcticite. I thought that was just so good. Refusing to say great anymore. The episode as well was a really nice change of pace, being a bit more comedic at times and showing the freedom and personality from a lot of the background characters. So yeah, all those characters getting time, of course, I already mentioned that. The animation was awesome. One thing that particularly was really cool in the animation was when Phos's arms, whenever they would reach out for stuff, and they would be shaped like hands, but their movement would be really inhuman and uncanny. I really liked the way that was done. Just, I don't know, the art behind it I really liked. The Master was great again too. Last episode was probably my favorite episode for getting into his character and feeling for him, but he was really funny, and I thought that added to the episode. And yeah, episode had everything. I couldn't think of whether it was comedy, whether it was feels, whether it was character development. I can't think of anything more I could have asked from a single episode. And I think that, and because I did feel a connection and feel invested in everything, that for me, there was absolutely nothing I thought it could do better. I've got to give it a perfect score, so I'll give it 10 golden tears out of 10. Yeah, really, I'm going to use it one last time. Great episode. I absolutely loved it, and I hope you guys loved it too. So, if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this episode, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more. Hoseki no Kuni, much more on the channel, tons of other things. Subscribe, or wait, did I just say that? Yeah, I think I did. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. If you want a link to our Discord server, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.